Hello, and welcome to the consultant report for digital therapeutics for senior healthcare. This report has been put together for JGJ Incorporated, so welcome today. I am Denise Jameson. I will be reporting out today on the findings of the market, assessing the market, and how we can move forward and make sure that JGJ is positioned to be successful in entering the senior healthcare market for digital therapeutics. So as we get started, just a few items to share with you regarding the market overview. As you can see, there's a 31% growth opportunity between 2021 and 2026. It is a very competitive market, and the US market has the largest growth share available. And right now, there's only about 18% of those focused on preventative care. There are very few competitors, and the approach for JGJ would be cost avoidance in approaching a specific market. Part of that also target would be the 73 million baby boomers, and it would be a subset of those that still have not yet reached the age of 65. And we would like to focus on those under 65 who are healthy and help them remain healthy. And part of that would be identifying who is at risk and how we can prevent any progression of the disease or prevent it altogether. It's important in this process that we understand the competition. And so JGJ Incorporated will focus on the baby boomers who are under the age of 65. Again, identify those that are at risk for certain conditions and provide preventative care. Currently in the market, there are some leading competitors. Philips and Livongo both focus on preventative and treatment care, but only Livongo focuses on those under the age of 65. Omada focuses on treatment care for those over 65. And then there's WellDoc, Paratherapeutics, and Noom, all focusing on treatment care of those under the age of 65. In this next slide, you can see how the competition ranks in determining preventative versus treatment care and under versus over the age of 65. JGJ Incorporated would find a niche market basically by itself as far as the leading players in the market today. That's not to say there aren't some up and comers, and we do know that it is a fast growing market where there's a lot of opportunity and different companies are trying to get a part of that market. As we start to dig into the product overview, I just want to call out a few variations of the product and what makes it so different. So the first one is its uniqueness. And so focusing on that preventative care for those members under the age of 65, it's targeted, identifies those patients who are at risk and how can we help them proactively. Again, and that's that preventative measure. It works to prevent the disease altogether. And then overall quality of life. We do know that our baby boomers are very interested in their health and maintaining that in an active lifestyle. And so this product can empower those patients to have better control of their health and their lives. As JGJ Incorporated starts to build this product, it will be simple and effective, and the tracking will be very simple that it makes a very minimal impact to the patient. However, it's very robust in its reporting and its ability to report back and look for opportunities within the patient's care and behaviors. It's a blended experience. It provides fewer trips to the provider's office, but yet it's very, very informative, and the provider has a pulse on that patient at all times. And then the early detection before an adverse event. Think about a stroke and being able to alert a provider of a high blood pressure. Think about a heart attack and the tachycardia that could be identified for a member who's at risk for congestive heart disease. These are pretty severe and life-altering events in a patient's life. And so if we can prevent that and help to keep them healthier longer, that would be the ultimate goal for JGJ Incorporated. Here's a little bit of understanding about our baby boomer population. We do know that they're very interested in e-commerce and the adoption. of that. They're very comfortable putting their information out there, credit card information, where they live, what are their shopping habits. So we do know their willingness to adopt online and technology is definitely growing. And you can see they are the fastest growing segment in the population. It creates that very positive environment for adoption with those ages 55 to 6 or 57 to 64 in digital therapeutics. And there would be little hesitation regarding their privacy. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later in the presentation, where JGJ Incorporated would need to ensure that privacy is protected. It is in the best interest of that patient, and how they can feel secure that their information is not being shared and is only being used for learning opportunities and growth opportunities. The next slide we have here is regarding funding. And so the expected growth around funding is going to be close to $9 billion by 2025. And so if not now, by 2025, the greatest market opportunity may be gone for JGJ Incorporated to be able to obtain some of that funding that has become available to support digital therapeutics. And so this is definitely a slide worth hanging on to, and that sense that we know that that funding is there, and we may be able to tap into that to ease some of the pain of the investment of JGJ Incorporated specifically. This next slide is very informative regarding the openness of the plan type. And so because we are focusing on 57 to 64-year-olds, we will be looking at commercial plans for those that are still in the workforce, still raising families, and we need to be aware that they are in a very different place in life than maybe a Medicare member. And so we do know that commercial plans support digital therapeutics at a 22% rate, and that 44% of them are interested in building their digital therapeutic capability. And so there's still a remaining population that's still to be considered. And so not only is the current 44% that are interested, but that remaining percentage that is an opportunity for JGJ Incorporated to penetrate within the market. So the next area we're going to focus on are the internal and external market environments. And so industry standard is to use Porter's 5 forces in determining what those may be and what the threat is to the company, meaning JGJ Incorporated. And so the first one is the threat of new entrants. And so we do know that there's a large number out there of sellers and buyers without a current leader. And JGJ Incorporated wants to be that leader in the industry, because they can differentiate themselves with the preventative measures for this product, and they can be that leader before other companies have the opportunity to take that part of the market. Threats of substitute, definitely low due to that little activity, but with that expected growth rate, it will quickly create that competition. And so that is one area of opportunity that JGJ Incorporated will need to focus on to act quickly. That will also allow them to obtain the best talent and make sure that the product is secure and safe before it goes to market. The bargaining power of suppliers, it will be service-based. And again, that's where those highly skilled individuals will be critical to build the product. And there will be a cost impact to that. However, if JGJ Incorporated can, in fact, build itself as the leader before the other competitors have an opportunity to gain that market share, it will in turn become a great return on investment. The bargaining power of the customers, the health plans onboarding digital therapeutics, there seems to be a lot of interest there, and we know that. We know that we can reduce costs and increase the health of the patients, and the power resides in the savings for JGJ Incorporated and those health plans. And we know that when both of them are getting cost savings, that's a win-win for everybody, and we have a healthier patient in the interim as well. And again, the industry, we know that it's growing quickly. There are a lot of dollars to be had in the funding that's available, and there's a clear path to preventable clinically proven therapeutics. And we want to capitalize on that and make sure that we have the right product out there for the right market. So a few things to consider regarding the internal and external marketing factors in the environment. So it's of a personal nature. You are taking people's information, their health care, and you may even give them some insights into risks that they didn't know that they even had. So we've got to make sure that the product is secure and it's used to benefit the patient long term, and that it's only used for learning and improvement from a company perspective. We need to understand healthcare policy. We know that those changes can impact the company significantly. We know that administration changes within the US will definitely determine where and how the company can function. So it's important that we stay informed. We've got to have the right competencies. We need to consider a project manager. We have to have a test and learn environment to make sure that the product doesn't go to market and it's not quite ready, or there are some functionalities that aren't behaving properly. We have to have the right training and support. Support meaning we've got salespeople out in the markets having conversations and making sure that we have technical support to ensure that the product is working seamlessly. And we also have to make sure that we have data and finance, because if we can't show the numbers and the return on investment and cost avoidance, then there is no opportunity for us to prove the value of the product to the health plans and ensure that we remain the top priority of those getting contracted with the health plans. Lastly, we need to ensure that all requirements are being met, so legal, risk, and compliance. The governing agencies, whether state and local, we have to make sure that we have audits in place to make sure that things are functioning the way that they should. And if they're not, that we're able to pivot quickly and make those updates. We need to make sure that our licensure is appropriate and that our patents are out there and that it is timely. There is a fine line of when to ensure that those patents are requested and they're put into place. Here's a bit about our pricing strategy and how we'll get there. So again, we're going to focus on the commercial health plans to impact that targeted audience. And the nice thing about partnering with the health plans is that we will have access to a large amount of data and a provider network, and we can build our pricing into the plan. It benefits the plan. We can show the savings, cost avoidance, and value. We will be using a price skimming to recover our initial investment, reduce the risk of obsolescence, and continue to reinvest to remain the market leader. And lastly, we want to promote well-being. Our baby boomers are interested in staying healthy. So we want to provoke that empowerment and be a good partner and build the trust in adoption. So as we conclude today, I know that I have presented a lot of information to be considered if JGJ Incorporated will enter the digital therapeutics for senior health care. And so as you consider that, again, the market is moving at a fierce pace and the competitors are quite aware of the opportunity that exists. And as you position yourself to take this role, it will be critical to ensure that the patient feels secure and their best interests are at the core of JGJ Incorporated. And this will include utilizing your best talented folks to build, test, and deploy the product. Lastly, it will be critical to be a good business partner with the healthcare plans and be able to scale broadly, swiftly, and promote itself as a leader in the industry. So as we conclude, I want to thank you for your time. I know this was a lot of information today, but I'm very pleased at the information we had and that I feel that it presents a very good picture of the opportunity that exists for JGJ Incorporated. You will find here my contact information, and I look forward to hearing from you.